When I go to college campuses, I spend quite a bit of time on Bernie. I say, look, there's nothing sexy or cool about socialism. There's the implication of force that has to be used, and there's also the understanding, or needs to be understanding, that socialism is anti-choice. It takes away the choice of individuals to decide what they want to sell or what they want to buy. And if you choose to challenge the state, they have to get rid of you. They have to arrest you, or they have to eliminate you. This is why Stalin killed millions and millions of people. Mao Zedong killed millions and millions of people, because socialism ultimately requires force, and there's nothing good about this. Also, just from a practical purpose, it just doesn't work. The reason we won the Cold War is because the engine of capitalism defeated the engine of socialism. And people need to understand why we were once great and why we still have lingering greatness. It's because of freedom. And capitalism, freedom of exchange, they're all the same thing.
Senator Kennedy, on another subject, communism is so often described as an ideology or a belief that exists somewhere other than in the United States. Let me ask you, sir, just how serious a threat to our national security are these communist subversive activities in the United States today?
Well, I think they're serious. I think it's a matter that we should continue to give great care and attention to. We should support the laws which the United States has passed in order to protect us from those who would destroy us from within. We should sustain the Department of Justice in its efforts and the FBI, and we should be continually alert. I think if the United States is maintaining a strong society here in the United States, I think that we can meet any internal threat. The major threat is
Democratic presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders claims to be a democratic socialist who wants America to be more like Sweden, Denmark, and Norway.
He wants America to look more like Scandinavia.
That's right. And what's wrong with that?
But is he telling you the truth? In 2014, Sanders endorsed longtime Communist Party supporter Chuy Garcia's bid for the Chicago mayoralty. Sanders spoke alongside Scott Marshall, a leader of the Chicago Communist Party. 1985, while serving as mayor of Burlington, Vermont, Bernie Sanders celebrated the 6th anniversary of the Marxist Sandinista takeover of Nicaragua with pro-Cuban leader Daniel Ortega. He also traveled to communist Cuba, later praising Fidel Castro for his wonderful government-run healthcare.
Just because Ronald Reagan dislikes these people does not mean to say that the people in their own nations feel the same way.
In 1988, Sanders and his new bride honeymooned in the former Soviet Union, where they negotiated to make Burlington a sister city of Yaroslavl, a city less than 160 miles from Moscow. The following year, Bernie Sanders addressed the 10th anniversary celebrations of the Communist Party-controlled US Peace Council, the American affiliate of the Soviet-dominated World Peace Council. Sanders spoke alongside such democratic socialists as Decima Williams from Grenadian President Morris Bishop's pro-Castro New Dual movement, and Zedi Terzi, a representative of Yasser Arafat's terrorist Palestine Liberation Organization. In his first congressional race, Bernie Sanders received the endorsement of journalism icon I.F. Stone. Stone was at the time a supporter of America's largest Marxist organization, Democratic Socialists of America. Stone praised Sanders for his pragmatic socialism. Stone would later be identified as a former long-time Soviet spy. Democratic Socialists of America support the theories of Karl Marx, Italian Communist Party leader Antonio Gramsci, and call for the complete government control of all business. Bernie Sanders has worked with Democratic Socialists of America for decades. They even funded and supported his first successful Senate race in 2006. A prominent Sanders supporter is Washington, D.C. Democratic Socialists of America leader Kurt Stand. Stand was recently released from a federal penitentiary after serving a 17-year sentence for spying on America for the former Soviet Union and Communist East Germany. Democratic Socialists of America are now effectively running Bernie Sanders' presidential campaign, but the Marxists have deliberately tried to hide this from the American public. Socialists will always try to deceive you to get your support.
We are not communists.
Will you let Bernie Sanders fool you?
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, an error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
The report is that the president is dead. The word we have is that he is dead, that he was shot by an assassin at the intersection of Elm and Houston Streets just as he was going into the underpass. The word we have is from a doctor on the staff of Parkland Hospital who says that it is true. He was in tears when he told me just a moment ago.